My name is Micheal Staley. I'm the Suicide Prevention Research Coordinator at the Office of the Medical Examiner. I also help schools, families, and other communities recover after a suicide loss. Why is it so important for school administrators to reach out to a family after a suicide loss, specifically the loss of a student in a school and reaching out to their families? It's one of the most important things that school administrators can do after that death. And I know that feels really daunting to many people. You know, I think the instinct there is to want to walk away from that disaster or to allow the family the privacy to grieve. But indeed, these are times when families need to know that they're supported, that their community is surrounding them and cares about them. Compassion has to always be first. And so the day after the death is typically the best time for the school to contact the family and arrange a time to meet at their home in person. I know right now with COVID, that's probably something that might make some people a little bit more nervous, so be willing to be flexible with families who might be thinking about that. But going over there to their house, maybe the school principal with the school counselor, if there's a teacher that might be good to bring, keep it small, 2 or 3 people. Here are some things that you might want to keep in mind when you meet with the family. They might not remember much of what you tell them, but they will remember that you're there. The worst thing that you can say is nothing at all. So don't worry too much about the way that you express your condolences. Simply say, "I'm so very sorry for your loss. We're grieving with you." And listen to the family. Hear their concerns. Hear what they're experiencing at that time, offer to help them. Sometimes school administrators put it upon themselves to become a detective, and that's not your role. Your role here is to express compassion, condolences, and offer support. If the family wants to tell you everything about what happened, let them. Give them that space to talk to you. You might be the first person that they talk to, and remember, you're opening channels of communication, and so you don't want to put a damper on anything they might tell you. But be careful with your questions. Don't ask, who owned the gun, or were they unsupervised for this period of time? Where were you during that? Stay away from all those kinds of questions. Again, go back to, "I'm sorry for your loss. I wish things could be different. Your son, your daughter meant so much to us and so much to the teachers at school. We're also grieving with you." And again, be careful with your questions. Stick to them about what's going to happen now, what's going to happen next. You might also want to make sure that if you're bringing resources, for example, if your school has a counseling center that can offer family support, make sure that you bring that information in writing. Otherwise, they may not remember. It might also be good to tell the family that it would be good to have somebody who's advocating for them, perhaps a clergy person or another family member who you can contact easily in the future if the family isn't available. It's also just good to have that other person there to remember what you're saying. But whatever you do, bring it in writing as well, so that they have that and can look at it later and remember what you told them about what you have to offer as a school. It's also really important to know if there are siblings involved, and if so, it's probably best that you meet with the family without the siblings present. And I say that just so that you and the family and the parents can speak freely. Siblings are very curious. They want to know what's going on, and we would all be curious as well. If the families want the siblings in the room, make sure you keep the conversation developmentally appropriate. If the siblings are not in the room, don't put it past them that they'll be hiding behind, a couch or a rail or a wall nearby. So still keep what you say, conscientious of that there could be siblings somewhere listening in. Also offer to meet with the siblings one-on-one to have an open conversation about the death with them, with or without the parents. Siblings go to the same school perhaps, and they might know more about what was going on and be willing to tell you that. Another thing that you can do to really help your school community and your family and the family is to ask who might be directly impacted by that death. So are there best friends? Are there sports teammates that might also be impacted, or people who are in clubs? Those might not be school-sanctioned events. Those could be club sports, and those are important. Those are every bit as impacted, if not more deeply impacted, than some school-sanctioned sports. And you might want to reach out to those coaches and those teams and offer support to them as well. Also make sure that the family has a way to contact you directly so that they don't have to go through hoops, but that they can get a hold of you easily. That's another thing that families really appreciate. A lot of times, therapists, physicians, school administrators, teachers are afraid to reach out to families for liability reasons. But here always is the question that comes up in those liability situations. Did you care? Did you really care? Did you do the things that you said you would do to keep kids safe? And if you did, expressing caring, you have nothing to worry about. Go and listen to the family's concerns and learn from them. And invite them to be a part of the conversation. Another thing that I think that is really important is following the family's lead about how you'll communicate to your school community about the death. Ideally, you want to be able to acknowledge to your community that the death was a suicide. That will allow you to message safely and follow other best postvention practices. But oftentimes families don't want the community to know that their child died by suicide in that moment. And we have to respect that. So make sure that you ask, how do you want us to tell our school community about this death? Would you like us to say that this person died by suicide? Or would you like us to say that there was a death in our community? If they say that they don't want the community to know that it's a suicide, maybe follow that up with the point that there's going to be a lot of banter and gossip. And sometimes it's better just to get the truth out there and spear that gossip, just head that gossip off. That gives you and the family a lot more control over the situation. If they refer to it just as a death, again, we respect that, but that also limits what you can do and say to students about the death. We always have to respect the family's privacy. And students are, especially their friends, are going to know ultimately probably what happened. So again, it's best just to take control from the beginning and as much as you can, politely, courteously, and compassionately push that point. But it's better to lead with this was a suicide and tell them why. Perhaps you're an administrator at a charter school and you just simply don't have the mental health resources to help that family. It's important that you, in that 24 hours before you go visit the family, you know what resources are available in your community. Here in Utah, there are 14 local mental health authorities. And those authorities, even if they're not going to be the most appropriate resource for that family, they're going to be the place where the family should start. So know who that is. You can go to the Department of Health or Human Services websites and find those local authorities. Call them, tell them that you're meeting with a family and that you're going to pass information along so everybody's in the loop. Keep in mind, don't share any private or confidential information. Just simply say you're going to go meet with a family who might need support, and you're going to send them that way so that they're prepared to respond adequately. By the way, those local mental health authorities, they're your partner in all of this. Those local health districts, they're your partner in this. Lean on them, call them, ask them, where would you send a family who's recently experienced a loss like this? What therapists are in our community who are good at dealing with bereavement, especially sudden and unexpected death? And then make sure you get that contact information so that you have it on paper and you can hand it to the family at that time. You might also contact the funeral home. Sometimes funeral homes really know who in the community is good at providing bereavement support. So those are some of the places you can go to start to build those list of resources. You're also welcome to call the State Board of Education suicide specialist or the suicide prevention coordinator, either at Department of Human Services or the Department of Health. And we can oftentimes steer families and you in the right direction.